It's the weekend and you're joining me on your favorite show, your weekend show, Smart Money. In today's episode, we've decided to put together a step-by-step guide on how you can achieve not one, but a 10 crore target in investment goal in 20 years with the right investments, a good amount of time spent in the market and the right asset allocation strategy. Also, if you have not started your investment journey till the age of 30, 35, is it still an achievable target? We find out today. Mohit Gang of Moneyfront joins me on Smart Money. Mohit, thanks a lot for being with us here.
Thank you. Always a pleasure, Sonia. Thank you.
So, that 10 crore number, right? First of all, it looks like a very unachievable number at the moment, but 20 years from now, given the way inflation is going, given the cost of living, the value of the 10 crore is not going to be as much as you think. So tell us, why did we pick that number and is it an achievable target?
Oh, absolutely. As daunting as it might look, to be very honest, I think 10 crore is something which everyone who is about to retire in about 20 years, 25 years from now should be aiming from. And I'll try and put it and break it in simple math to kind of explain why this number is not a very big number and why this number is something which we should not be looking forward to. Look, so at a 10 crore corpus, and suppose you're retiring at an age of 60, which I'm sure most of us are planning to retire at that age because that's the government stipulated rate, that's the age at which most of the corporates ask their employees to retire, so on and so forth, right? At a 10 crore corpus, if I assume a 4% withdrawal rate, and that's a very universal thumb of the rule kind of a formula, that 4% withdrawal will sustain you for around 25 to 27 years of your life post-retirement, right? So if I assume a 4% withdrawal rate, that means I need around 40 lakhs per year. Now 40 lakhs a year kind of amounts to 3.3 odd lakhs a month, right? Now that 3.3 lakhs a month looks like a very big number. If you ask me honestly, are our expenses 3.3 lakhs a month? As of now, not. But if your expenses are also between, let's say, 50,000 to 75,000 rupees a month. Today, in today's term, in today's value, right? 75,000 rupees a month after 25 years, Sonia, with a 6% inflation will be 3.25 lakhs a month. So if you're spending 75,000 rupees a month, and anyone who's doing that, anyone who's doing a number closer to do it, lesser than it, or maybe higher than it, then beware, your expenses at age 60, after 25 years, are going to be 3.25 lakhs to a 3.5 lakh kind of a number every month. And that's why I feel that if you have a corpus of 10 crores, you will be able to live a very happy life. That will, in fact, mean that you have a withdrawal of an amount equivalent to 75,000 in today's term.
But are you including some of these large expenses that we have to make, whether it's our children's education or children's marriage, etc., or not including that amount?
As of now, I'm not including anything. It's just the retirement corpus, which one should be aiming for. If you have to live peacefully, settle down in your hometown, settle down somewhere else, but you want an expense which is in the range of around 70,000 to a lakh every month, and you think that'll be the expense in today's term, then you have to aim and shoot for a 10 crore corpus.
Okay, so all of you folks who are between the age of 20 and 40, right, you will need 10 crores in your corpus by the time you're 60 in order to just basically just live, right? I mean, we're not even talking about travel expenses, children's expenses, all of that. Let's take this step by step then, shall we? What are the ingredients that you need to achieve 10 crores in the next 20 years? And if you can help us with different scenarios age-wise.
Yeah, sure. So look, I think we'll go with the basic math first. Any future value is equal to what you can put in or park today in terms of your present value, multiplied by the rate of return, which is the compounded annual rate of return what your investments will fetch you, and raised to the power of the tenor for which you are investing, which is the time horizon, right? So there are three critical ingredients in this entire equation, which is the present value of your corpus, which is what you can invest today, what you can put aside today. Second is the rate of return, which is the rate at which your investments are growing, right? And we can all argue what is the right combination, equity, debt, asset allocation, so on and so forth. And we can very well assume a rate, which is a generic rate of return which markets have been giving to us, right? And the most important and the critical ingredient out here is time. If you give time to your investments, right, the compounding kicks in. And compounding is sheer magic, Sonia. Both of us standing out here can't even visualize. We can't think geometrically. Our minds are attuned to think arithmetically. We can do 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6, but we can't do a 6 into 6 into 6 into 6. And we'll just fumble at the fourth step, right? And that's what compounding does to your investments. So when you put the time factor, which is the most critical factor, that will lead you to a huge corpus and that will create magic in your portfolio.
Okay, so the power of compounding, right? So I want to understand the different scenarios. So what we've done is Mohit has very helpfully put together couple of charts for us, and I request my director to just pull up some of those charts. If you want to achieve a 10 crore corpus, say over the next 20 years, right, at different tenors. Okay, here's the first chart. Let's go with this. Now, what we've done is we've assumed here a fixed SIP, and if you increase your SIP by 10% annually, right? So this is for a 1 crore corpus. We're not even talking about 10 crores here. This is the amount, and assuming a very nominal 12% annual return, the amount that you will need is, you need a lakh per month if you want to achieve a 1 crore corpus in how much? In about 6 years, right?
6 years.
And
with a
20
fixed
years,
SIP.
with 20 years, about 10,000 per month.
Yeah.
And if you top it up, you want to take us through this, Mohit? Go ahead.
Okay, let's do this with the 10 crore corpus. I think they'll give us a perfect picture of where we want to end up if we get to that.
Okay,
yeah,
here
I think this gives us a very perfect picture. So look, I think what most of us will have today, and I'm just assuming that the audience out here is roughly in the band of around 30-35 years, and we can all tweak it accordingly as per the chart out here. But let me talk it out for an age group of around 30 years. We have a good 25 to, let's say, 30 more years to go for the retirement, anyone around that age group, right? And if you do a fixed SIP of 25,000 rupees a month, that will take you to a corpus of 10 crores, assuming a 12% return in 32 years, right? So if you are at an age of around 28 years, 30 years, you are fairly well slated. All that requires is a 25,000 rupee monthly SIP without breaking it, without tweaking it, without churning it, without redeeming it. Continue it in a disciplined manner for 32 years. At a 12% rate, you will reach your corpus. How do you make it quicker? How do you make it fast? If you increase that amount just 10% every year, right? All of us get our bonuses, all of us get our increments. We're all working in corporate lives, or we are doing our own stuff, right? So if you can just increase this amount every year in a disciplined manner, and this might not, let's say someone might argue that my salary increase is not 10% or so on and so forth, but you can always pump in your bonus to make sure that an amount equivalent to a 10% increase is getting into the SIP every succeeding year. So which will mean that the 32-year will fall down to around 25 years in terms of corpus accumulation, which is a good 7-year kind of a reduction in reaching to that 10 crore kind of a corpus.
Okay, so if we can just go back to that chart, I'll come to this chart as well in a bit, but if we can go back to that chart, yes. So what Mohit is trying to say here is that you can save a good 7 years if you just top up your SIP 10% annually, right?
Absolutely.
With an amount of just 25,000 rupees a month. I think it's pretty achievable for a lot of us who work in this age group of about 25 to 40 years old. Got that. Let's move on to the other one as well. And this is, of course, assuming a very average nominal 12% return.
Right.
Now, there was another chart that came through. If I can just ask my director to pull that up as well. Yes, this one. You want to explain this one to us?
Okay, so this is basically if I'm assuming that I just have a 20-year horizon, right? And nothing more, nothing less than that. So this is a computation at 20 years. The computations can vary by a few thousands here and then, depending on what you're rounding up to, basically. But if I want to achieve a 10 crore corpus and my rate of return is 15%, and I just have 20 years, then my amount to be invested is 66,000 rupees a month, right? But if you kind of increase that by 10% every year, then that 20-year horizon will become shorter, or this amount will become lesser. So either the amount decreases or the tenor decreases, depending on how you want to tweak the entire equation. But the three factors of the equation, the critical factors out here is the return, which we are assuming. We are taking a 15% return out here, and the time. The time plays the most important role, because the longer the duration, the more the power of compounding in this.
Okay, now there's a very interesting question I have here, right? So considering someone like me, I'm 37 years old, so just take ballpark 40 years old, right? In 20 years, by the time I'm 60, if I want to achieve a 10 crore corpus, I need to, if you go by a very, this is a higher rate of interest that we're assuming.
We have a chart with a 12% return.
as well,
So we have taken all scenarios. I think this is all assuming different combinations. So look, Nifty life till date has delivered around 14.5 kind of an IRR or a CAGR return, right? We have a chart with a 12% return. I think the previous one, we can take that for computation.
Okay.
We have one more on 10 crores actually. Yeah. I think this one.
Okay, so this is the one that we're looking at.
Yes.
So if I have 20 years in hand, rate of return is 12%, I need to invest 1 lakh per month.
1 lakh per month without any increments.
That is at this age of 40.
That is at this age. I'm not assuming any previous corpus out here. If you have any previous accumulated corpus, which most of us at that age will have something saved somewhere, right? And that portion is also growing. So that will add on to your kitty. But standalone, if someone fresh were to start at this age and still wants to accumulate a 10 crore, right? Though you're still you're a little late in the race, but if you invest with a 1 lakh amount every month, you are bound to reach that corpus, assuming a 12% return, which to my mind is a very fair return to assume.
It is a fair return. So this is the table that you really need to see, right? Amount of years you need and the amount rate of return. This is the monthly expense or monthly investment that you'll have to make in order to reach your 10 crore corpus. Hope this was helpful for our viewers. Let's do one thing. Let's take a quick commercial break. Lots more coming up on the kind of investments that you need to make in order to achieve that 10 crore corpus. Stay with us.